Hello there, tenor saxophone players. Rick is here with Musician's Edition for page 28. We're moving right along. I hope you're still with me and getting through the book. At the top of the page, there are some new ideas. Let's start with those. So we have tempos. And there are three terms, Andante, Moderato, and Allegro. I think I've mentioned this before. Oh, by the way, there's one thing I wanted to mention before I get into this. Where I am right now, it's late January and it's cold out, and so that means cold season, flu season, things like that. So just a reminder to be cleaning out your instrument, but even more importantly than that is washing the mouthpiece. Remember that you can take the entire mouthpiece, put it in the sink, warm water soap, scrub it out really good to get all those winter germs out of there. All right, back to the book. Tempos, Andante, Moderato, Allegro, those are Italian terms, and their meanings are listed in the book. Notice that they say moderately slow or moderate speed or quick and lively. Those are not exact speeds. They're relative or general terms. Obviously, Andante is going to be slower than Moderato, slower than Allegro, so that if you're changing speeds, you have to make sure that you go faster if it indicates that or slower. But an exact speed that you could set a metronome, there isn't one. Okay. Dynamics, same thing with the dynamics. We have mezzo forte. Mezzo means medium, so the symbol for that you'll see in the music is MF. Medium loud, again, not an exact volume. And then mezzo piano is medium soft. So mezzo forte is going to be softer than forte, louder than mezzo piano. Mezzo piano is going to be softer than mezzo forte, louder than piano. All right? All right, on to playing. We start with number 123, which is just whole notes tied to whole notes. And set the metronome a little quicker for this since we have long notes. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. High Winds Ahead is number 124. At the beginning it says Andante. So Andante means medium slow. So we're going to go at a little bit slower pace than we just had for the last one. And by the way, if you look at a metronome, there will generally be a range of tempos marked as Andante or Allegro or Moderato, and so you will see kind of a range. So that can give you a good idea of what speed to choose if you're not sure. So keep that in mind. I'm going to set this at 76, which is right at the lower end of the Andante on this metronome. Actually, I'm going to go up to 80. Here we go. 3 beats in a measure. 1, 2, 3. All right, 125 is called Look Before You Leap. It says Moderato. Check the key signature. Take a look at where the phrase slur markings are. The reason I said phrase is phrase and slur curved lines look the same. All right, here we go, starting with a B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next we have another scale. This is the F major scale with an arpeggio and chords. The key of F and the F scale will always have a B flat, and there is a B flat in the key signature. This one says Allegro, but since we're just learning, Allegro would be faster than I think we should take this at this point. So we're going to be closer to Andante. All right, we can do it without the metronome. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, on to 127. This one is called Variations on a Theme by Mozart. Mozart is a famous composer from a long time ago. It does show the years that he lived. But this is a melody he wrote. Variations on a theme by Mozart means that first the melody will be presented and then the melody will be altered in the variations. There are 3 variations. What is varied? Sometimes it's the notes, sometimes it's the rhythm. So it could be a combination of those things. Could be the time signature, like in the first one, goes into 3 beats in a measure instead of 4. So there can be different approaches to variations. And since the metronome's still not working, we will go without the metronome. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good way to practice that one would be to take each sections. There are 4 sections, and practice them independently, making sure you can play them. Then try going from one variation to the next. Make sure you change your counting when you get to variation 1, so you're only counting 3 beats in a measure, then back to 4 beats in a measure, and try to keep the steady beat the same all the way through, even when you get to time signature changes and other variations. On 128, there is an alternate fingering for the note C, middle C. We've already learned that note. It's played with the middle finger of the left hand. But when you are going back and forth between B and C, and this B natural, it is suggested that you use this alternate fingering because just like the F and the F sharp, it's a little clunky to flip-flop fingers by lifting one and putting another down, and sometimes you get an extra note in between, like this. It's really difficult to do what's called a trill with the normal fingering. So the alternate fingering is keeping the first finger down, as in B natural, and adding the middle key of the right hand with this part of your finger. So you're just leaning back on this key, and it's right above the B flat key. So it's the middle one over here. There are three. So you just add that and you get the note C like this. So it's much easier to do that. All right. So for 128, make sure you're using the alternate C key, the alternate C fingering. Each time there's an asterisk. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. On my instrument, you might notice that the C sounds a little different. It's got a different tone quality. And so that's one of the reasons that you don't use that fingering all the time. It should only be used when necessary. All right. I will see you next time for page 29. Good luck.